Hello and welcome to the Hollidaysburg Area YMCA 1 by 1. I'm Donna Cohen, your moderator, and this program is brought to you by the Hollidaysburg Area YMCA, whose mission is to build strong kids, strong families, and strong communities one by one. The purpose of our program is to bring to you information regarding the events and the programs that are being offered by the Y, and to introduce to you different people that make up the Y family, such as board members, staff members, directors, volunteers, teachers, parents, friends of the Y, just to name a few. Now, before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor, and that's the Hollidaysburg Area YMCA Board of Directors. And we again thank you so much for your continued support of our show. Now, today's theme is sizzling summer programs. Now, when today's topic, sizzling summer programs, was selected, I found myself hoping that crazy groundhog from Puxatawny was going to be right, but unfortunately, as I drove in here today through the snow and the ice and everything else, his prediction of an early spring, I think he missed the mark just a little bit. And so talking about summer programs right now just sounds perfect to me, and I think this winter's dragged on a little too long. So the WISE programs run steadily throughout the year, but summer programs seem to create a little more excitement and energy. And it must be because they're generally on the outside and engage the energy of the flowers, the birds, the sun, anything warm. I think we're all ready for it to be outside. So right now we are fortunate to have 3 staff members who have appeared a number of times on our show, and we will hear a lot about their great summer programs and what's going on at the Y. And that's going to be scheduled for this summer. And I'll tell our audience now that it's going to be impossible to provide you with a complete information about the summer programs because there's just too many of them. And that's why I always say that when you want to know what's going on, stop at the Y or visit the website and to get all the details. So let's move on and introduce our panel. And our first panelist is our very enthusiastic Arts and Humanities Director, Laurie Smith. Now, Laurie launched our Arts and Humanity program about 3 years ago, just about the same time we started our show. And the popularity of the many events and exhibits and the partnerships that's generated through all your efforts and all the traffic. I know there's more people coming in just to see all your exhibits. And Laurie, thanks for all your work. Welcome back. And today we'd like to hear a little more about your family and its a connection with the Y.
Well, thanks, Donna. And I'm glad to be back. Actually, I was one of the first on the first show. So I might repeat some of the things that I talked about and my beliefs and being part of the YMCA, but as far as the family, I can tell you that my family has grown up at the Y. Going back to my dad, Bill Bacchino, his family went to the Y on Penn Street. I remember going there. It's just a great place to bring people together. And my children, I have 3, Katie, David, and Caroline, and they all went through all the biddy programs. They went through all the camp programs. We have so many great Y stories, and I think for me, one of the things is to make sure that these kids coming in and participating in our art programs or Y nights are going to have the same kind of memories that they'll be able to talk about years down the road. So I have a great family, but I have a second family. I have the Y family, and amongst that are the people that I work with and my great core of volunteers. Without those volunteers, I could not do half the programming that I'm doing right now.
Oh,
so
great.
Thank you, volunteers.
Okay, well, in mentioning about your arts program, I noticed we have a new sign back here. Is that through your efforts?
That's actually Andrew Dirk, who is a photographer who helped purchase one of our hanging systems that we have hanging along with the Hollidaysburg Women's Club. He has been very enthusiastic about the arts and photography and sharing with the younger people some of the things he has done. So he brings in some of his prints and we sell them, and then he donates money back to the Y that goes into the arts and humanities. So Andrew's been a big supporter of the Y Arts program.
So he's part of the long list of volunteers you're
Yes,
talking about.
absolutely.
Well, great. Well, thanks, Laurie. And now our second panelist is our Child Development Director, Sandy McGough. Now, Sandy directs one of the largest child care programs in Blair County and one of four-star Keystone programs that's in Blair County. And congratulations on all your accomplishments. I know it's long-standing. And today, would you tell us a little bit about your family and its connections with the Y?
Okay, well, I'm married, and I have 3 sons, Jimmy, Tommy, and Andy, who have basically grown up at the Y, either attending, the different programs, or actually had been staff at the Y while they were still living in the area. Now we're starting the next generation of grandchildren who are coming to the Y, Tyler and Caitlin. They're starting to join some of the programs. In fact, today I was speaking to Margie, the Child Watch person in there, and she told me that Tyler's mother had decided she was going to take a day off of working out, and Tyler said, "No, Mommy." He goes, "I want to go see Miss Margie." Okay. So she came in to work out so he could go to Child Watch. So this is just the next generation of McGoughs that are going to be involved at the Y.
Okay, well, that leads me to a question that when your children went, and now your grandchildren, do you see a big difference? Do you see a different way of teaching? Is there anything that you can say better, worse, and different, or?
No, I think, the quality of the program has remained steady. I don't think there's, of course the programs have changed as the times have changed in the community and, through the years, but I think the quality has remained steadfast with not only the curriculum, but, with the staffing.
And so all the kids, by the time they go through all this program, is more than ready for kindergarten.
Yes, definitely.
I know. Well, thanks, Sandy. Now, our third panelist is our Executive Director, Tom Kopriva. Now, Tom's found it kind of easy to avoid being here, but because he's kind of managed, because we have so many people that run the programs and are very well educated on the Y, that you kind of step back and let others do it, but today we have you. So we're glad to have you here. And how about you telling us about your family and your connections, your long connection to the Y?
Well, thanks, Dawn. I appreciate the welcome. We are a Y family, and I've been involved with the Y since 1972 as a member and then as a program participant. While serving on the board of directors in the 70s, I met my wife. Our first date was after a board meeting, and our 3 kids, Jolene is my wife, and we have 3 kids, Katie, Frank, and Jennifer. Just like Laurie and Sandy, our kids grew up in the Y, did a lot of the programs, swim instructors, swim team, lifeguards, camp staff. They just I think they embraced what the mission of the Y is and the relationships that we build at the Y. I think they've been very involved with that. Katie and her husband Jared are soon to give us our first grandchild.
Oh, wonderful.
So we're pretty excited about that. And Frank actually now is serving as our program director. I have said that he was in training for 20 years. For
Did he know that?
I don't think he did when it was happening.
Normally we have personal stories at the end of the show, and we decided that we're going to begin with our stories this time, and I've been so impressed with the impact on individual lives when we hear these stories, so we just kind of thought we're going to start that way and not run out of time. So, hey, Laurie, would you start us off? I know you've got a couple of stories you'd like to share.
I sure do. I think what I'd like to tell you about is I had a father come to me. His name's Chris Basenbach, and he asked if we had a Valentine's Day dance for a father-daughter, and I said, no, we don't. I said, but, I would be very open to try and make that happen. I said, but I have one request from you is, not everybody has a father, right now, or maybe they passed away, whatever the circumstances may be, can we make it a family? So that if there are children that might have a grandfather or a neighbor or somebody that they, would feel comfortable and love to bring to a dance, we could do. And he was all on board. So we ended up, thanks to Bierbauer Jewelers and Operation Our Town, they helped me fund this Valentine's Day dance. We actually had our second annual this year, but what we did, we had Doug Sauce, who is our Y cooking instructor. He did all the food. I mean, it was delicious. And then we had the Altoona Blair County Photography Society. They set up a whole photography along with Michelle Miller, so that we could take home photos of families, for Valentine's Day, which they loved. The kids loved that. And then Boomerang Sounds came and they did the DJing, which was so much fun. I mean, the kids just love getting out with their dads, moms with their sons, dancing, and of course the evening ends up with the YMCA song, which everybody enjoyed that. And along with that, we also do arts and crafts. So the kids are making cards, they're doing Valentine's. So there's a little bit of everything for all age groups. This year, we actually had 30 families attended our Valentine's Day dance, along with 91 participants in all. And it all goes back to just listening to one person's suggestion and making it move.
So what's
And
the
that's
time
what we
frame?
did.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a lot of things going on. Is it all afternoon type thing?
No,
or-
it actually is part of our YMCA series, Y Night series. I've made a Halloween dance and also a Valentine's dance part of that. We start in October, we end in April, because that helps bring families out and it encourages them, to be with their kids, bring other families, just hanging out. And I've talked to several people, the Dombrowskis, the Gates family, the Sloan family, and they're all like so into being able to bring their kids and do some fun things. Because a lot of times when you go and you do dances, it's at weddings. There's not a lot of, quote, like family dances. So that's something we're trying to breed, something new.
Do you try to get sponsors on that?
Yeah, I did. I have actually for the Valentine's Day dance, Bierbauers, and they donate all kinds of jewelry that we raffle off. And then Leete's Farm Market does the Halloween, which makes a lot of sense. They have a lot of pumpkins, gourds. They donate a lot of things that we're able to use. And also the Y Auxiliary, the Women's Auxiliary, helped sponsor the Y dance, the Halloween dance, along with Operation Our Town. So we're reaching out. We're trying to bring families together to a safe place, and that's what we're doing right now.
Now, is it considered a fundraiser, or is there a fee?
There is a fee, and for the regular wine night, it's like $5 for a non-member, $3 for a member. Now, when we do the dances, we do charge a little bit more, but even for a member, I think we did it $26, but that could be your whole family. I don't think there's too many things you can do today, even go and do the movies for $26, with food, entertainment, crafts. I mean, every child's walking out with something. Glow sticks. I mean, we try and make it a really fun event.
And can they swim at that time if they wanted to?
During the wine night they can, but during the dances we don't, because we have extra activities for them to engage
in. Sounds like you have a lot
in.
to work.
Yeah, we
lot
do.
To do. Lot to
And
do.
I have a lot of volunteers. Without those volunteers, those dances would not happen.
Well, that's what I always say at the end, that we're always looking for volunteers. There's plenty of things for people to do.
Exactly.
And all things. Well, thanks, Laurie. Sandy, can you top that?
Well, I don't know if I can top that.
Oh, sure you can.
When Tom told us that he wanted, part of the show was stories, I must admit that I called my son last night, who actually was a camp counselor for several years, and I said, Tommy, tell me something about camp that you remember that really stands out, because it's been several years since he has done camp. And he brought up a story which I completely had forgotten about, but when thinking about it, it is a great story. Several years ago, we had a child in our summer camp who was actually legally blind. And he said he said it always amazed him how the children took him under their wing and really tried to make the camp experience great for him. And the one field trip they remembered is that we went to one of the caverns. And, during the field trip, they realized that he didn't realize he was even in a cavern because of his, being legally blind. And the children, the campers on the field trip, described everything to him during that field trip. And I remembered then when he was telling me this story, I said, I remember that now, because I remember him coming back and saying how much it meant to him to see the kids just embracing, the child, and being able to make sure that the field trip, he got that experience of being in a cavern. So,
I bet you see that kind of thing often, though, that maybe the bigger kids will kind of.
We do, and that's what I think. Part of my theme this year for summer camp is that I have on the parent packet that our goal this year is every child should leave camp, they should have made at least one friendship. And if they haven't, then we failed as a camp staff. So, yes, I think there's a lot of friendships made that are for life. So, and they do embrace, the child who might be a little slower, or maybe, we've had some special needs children in camp through the years, and I think that the overall camp, whether it be the staff or the children, do take these children under their wings and make sure they have a really good camp experience.
Well, I know part of your classroom activities is to kind of teach kids about other kids being a little different or something, and you teach that compassion. You have one of your display. We did our show in your school one time, and you had on sign there about hands for helping hands and things. So the whole program is encouraging people, being kind to one another, and hopefully that'll continue on when they become
well, and even in summer camp too. We could have children attending summer camp from the Altoona School District, Hollidaysburg, Cambria, Cambria School District, Huntington. These children come to camp and probably do not know anybody.
That's
so we do try to make sure that those children, we may tell a child, this child doesn't know anybody. Can you kind of buddy up with him or her for a while until they get to know everybody? So,
it's interesting because my youngest daughter, Caroline, was just home on spring break. She met a good friend, Asher Klein, through the YMCA camp, and they were just talking about, because they just took the train back to school, about how much they loved the Y camp. That was one of the best summers she ever had. So they brought together, and she goes to Chatham and he goes to Pitt, and they're still best of friends, thanks to the Y camp.
Well, that's what we heard a number of times. We had coaches here and camp kids that have said they've made lifelong friendships, that they go back. They may not see each other often, but when they get together, they talk about, oh, you remember this, or what we did to that coach, or that kind of thing, or that counselor. They're just happy times, is what you hear all the time.
Well, and we actually can go a step further. I was telling Laurie about this. Is we actually have 2 camp staff getting married.
Really?
Who met at camp.
Whoa.
So,
so you don't know what's going on at the Y. You meet your spouse at the board meetings. You go to camp. Okay. Who knew you were in the matchmaking business here, too?
I don't know, but we might consider that as a new program.
Okay, Tom, well, how about you? I bet you can come up with one or two.
I'm like you, Dawn. I think I like to listen to these stories. Knowing that a member of the Y wants to have a father-daughter dance, and it turns into a big event, because we've been at the Valentine's Day dance. And the families are just having the greatest time. And the stories that Sandy can produce from her camps and child care and preschool programs are just amazing. The stories that have impressed me, and I have one that's a pretty old story. I met this mother, Barb. She and I were coaching soccer together. Her son, Mark, was on our team, and then he went into a different age group. But she came back to me and she said, Mark isn't the same bubbly kid that he was. And she had traced it back that one of his coaches in soccer told him he was too short to play goalie. Now, this kid's 7, 8, 9 years old. And he's being told, you're too short to play soccer. And it affected his self-esteem, and it had a negative impact on his schoolwork. And she says, I just don't know what to do. So we talked about it, and he came into one of our youth sports programs. And he got to be involved in everything and try all the different positions and have some success where he built up his self-confidence, and it was a good turnaround for him. So back then, and I remind myself of this story because it's that impact that the Y programs can have. It's the relationships that we can build, and that's the important thing. I remember these two brothers. They live on Spruce Street in Hollidaysburg, and the first year they came into one of our programs, they were just very shy, very timid, very quiet. The mother is a single parent, and evidently they just did not have a lot of sports activities in their background. They were probably 6, 7 years old at the time, but they were welcome into our program. They got exposed to throwing, catching, passing, kicking, the different things that we do in our youth sports programs. And the next year they came back, and now they were a little more involved, participating more and receiving a lot of encouragement, a lot of support. And the third year they came back, they were jumping into the front of the line. They were you could just see them develop their personality, their self-esteem, their confidences. So I think that's a real important impact that our programs can have. And the other story I have is Megan, and she's kind of a small girl, and I met her when she was probably first grade. And I noticed her because she was the only girl playing flag football in a first and second grade program. And of course that stuck out, and she held her own. And after the year, her mom and dad said she had a great time. She probably wasn't going to do it again, but she was able to pull it off, and the coaches and the other players accepted her. She came out to our track and field program, and she always wanted to run the long races, and she went to a track meet and was the youngest and smallest by far in this one race, but she never stopped. She finished, got a ribbon, and her mom and dad said, well, she did that, and she's going to go on to something else. And next time I see her, she's in gymnastics, and she was very athletic, very talented, and she did that one year, and she goes, that's enough. And I'm thinking, that's what we want to do. We want to expose kids to different sports, different activities. Right now, our community, our society seems to, okay, you're going to be a baseball player, and you play baseball year-round, or you're a soccer player, and they're making these decisions when the kids are very young. And, I don't know if that's the best thing or not. I guess we'll find out in a couple years when the kids grow up and go on with different interests, their bodies develop in different ways. But I think the Y programs, and Megan certainly illustrated that for me, is that a little taste of the different sports, and finally something will ring in your mind that this is what I like, this is what I want to get good at, and then the kids sports are that you invest the time, you work hard, you get better, and you learn your rewards come through hard work and accomplishment. And these are the lessons that youth sports should give you as you move on into school and career, that nothing comes easy, and you got to work hard, and you got to devote your energies to getting better. So these people, Mark and the two brothers from Spruce Street and Megan, have keep reminding me of the things that we need to do for our community.
Over the years, you must have seen thousands and thousands of kids. How is it that you're able to keep track of who's doing what? That they just pop in your mind? You just kind of follow one for doing something different?
Well,
or-
that's not a fair question, Donna.
Okay.
Because I don't remember.
Okay.
And a lot of people do have to come up and remind me that.
Okay.
But yeah, you see the kids, and we see them through the elementary school programs, and then junior high they come back. But when you have a chance to impact a child's life, I mean, that's special. That's what feeds my soul to keep coming back and doing this, and wanting to do it in a bigger scale. So it drives me. I'm not real good at remembering names. I can do faces, and I've learned how to ask people, could you remind me your name? So.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
They all know you, but you can't
Yeah.
remember everybody. It's about the same way with you, Sandy, that kids come
Definitely,
back
yes. You know, or we have a lot of our programs now. We're starting to have children who are in our program. This is going to make me sound very old. Children in our program now bringing their children, and that's actually kind of rewarding because they reminisce about their years at the children's center or in our school age program. And it's nice to see how they've developed and grown
Well, that
up.
tells you what they thought of the program. If they had such a great time, they want their kids to experience the same thing. But that's nice. That's what the Y is all about, isn't it? You work on your own abilities at your own pace, find your own niche, and hopefully build those cement blocks for a successful life. Yep. Well, Laurie, your stories touched on some of the outstanding arts and humanity programs and events in the past several months. I know that we're here to talk about coming events, but how about telling us about some of the past activities?
Let me just start with, I think when you look at programs, and how you decide to go with the program, you have to look at, do you have quality instructors? And that's really important. And you need to have people that are enthusiastic, that are open-minded, and willing to be flexible. So I think when I look at some of the programs that we've had, one in particular that comes to my mind is the Star Wars. That was a big phase. Well, we had it twice. We had it last year and we had it this year. This year we had 45 kids attend the Star Wars event. And Veronica Berry and her cast of players that come in and just do a sensational job. I mean, it's kids that want to be part of, kind of acting out the different theater parts that you see in the movie and being able to create a lightsaber and, pretend they're Yoda. I mean, I was learning all the different characters, but it was pretty cool because it was like we had a Star Wars event this year. The kids would gather in the lobby with their parents and just kind of like come together. It's like a bond, and it's cool. And you thrive on it, and you see the parents see their children that are like so excited about being part of this. So those are the things that I need to keep pushing and reminding ourselves that that's why we're there, to bring creativity to kids that maybe haven't had that opportunity.
Do you ask for like a survey on how they like the programs to kind of get ideas?
Yeah, I actually call parents and talk to them myself and ask them, what can we do better? What do they like about it? And they give me their input, which is very valuable.
Okay, and you've tried things and you thought, well, this isn't going to work, or do you just try a little bit of everything? Everything comes your way? Or?
Well, let me tell you about one that we've tried. I had actually she works for our customer service, Polly McCabe. She came to me and said, Laurie, how about doing a paranormal event? And I was like, paranormal? I said, I'm not even into that. She says, but I am, and I know people that are. And I said, okay, I'll think outside the box. Let's do it. So Patty Wilson, who was very excited about presenting the paranormal, she's an investigator, ghost hunters, has written books, had a lot of information to convey and share with an audience. I said, let's do it. And we did. We had 145 people show up for that event.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
the diversity. And we say, how can we meet our community's needs? Well, that's one way that we're doing it. We're actually doing another one here in April with a lady from Richmond, Virginia. Her name is Sandy Calora, and she heard about this event and was very interested and contacted me. So I met with her at Thanksgiving to talk about doing this event in April. So I guess that's where we're moving towards the point that nothing is not attainable, or let's entertain it and see how it goes. You know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But obviously, there are people out there that really enjoy this paranormal activity, so we're doing it again.
Well, interesting that you bring that up, because as I was looking at the new program book, there it is. It's listed, and I'm thinking, what is that about? So now we know what the. Okay, so who knew we had a lot of ghost people out there?
And we do.
We do. Okay, well, Tom, your list of programs is quite extensive here, so let's break them down a little bit. What would you like to talk about first? And let's not forget about Healthy Kids Day.
Yeah, in fact, that's where I'd like to start, Donna.
okay.
Is that Healthy Kids Day is something we do in the spring, and it sort of kicks off our summer season. Sandy does camp registrations, and we do some give the community a taste of some of the programs we're going to do in the summer and talk about them. But Healthy Kids Day is just an event all by itself. It's free to the community. We have state police and the local police doing fingerprinting and identity educational programs and nutritional things, besides just a lot of fun activities like obstacle courses, and occasionally we'll have a petting zoo, and the fire trucks come down and the EMT vehicles come down, and so it gives the opportunity for the community to see not only what we do, but some of the community services available to us from our local fire company, police, and the Hollidaysburg Ambulance Association. So it's a great day. It's a great way to kick off, and as you said earlier, I think we're all ready for the winter to be over.
Indeed.
Some blue skies, some sunshine, and some warmer weather. And yeah, the name of the show, Sizzling Summer Programming, is good, because there's a lot of things coming on. So after the Healthy Kids Day kicking everything off, we'll be into our Community Wellness Challenge series, and this is our 7th year of providing 8 races through the year. We've already kicked off this year a broomball race, which attracted 100 more people than the year before. We have a race in April every year, it's a Bud Schuster run. We have a race in May. We partner with the Altoona Curve. It begins and ends in the Blair County Stadium. Of course, the July 4th is the traditional big race downtown Altoona. We do the Canoe Creek Triathlon in August, and then a half marathon and distance challenges in October. And every one of our Community Wellness Challenge races is made up of a walk, a short run, and a long run. So in the distance challenges, the short run, the walk is actually a 5K, and the short run is a 6K, and the long run is a half marathon. And then we get into 2 more events, the November Turkey Trot, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We're probably up around 700 people for that. A lot of families. It's just a great day. And then the way we end our Wellness Challenge series is running through the Lakemont Park lights on New Year's Eve, and it's just a spectacular event. So we have that, and that's just great. Last year we had over 2,100 people. 1,000 of them ran in their very first Y race last year. 66% of the people are running as families. About 1 out of 5, 1 out of 6 people are 17 years or younger. So we know we're impacting the community, we're growing the running community, and those are just great events. And we have some great sponsorships, but I would suggest if you want to come out and run, you do that, check with us. We have online registration. We've made them into events. They're not just a race, it's a great time. And we have some other programs that are similar to the running of the running races. We do a youth track and field, event. There's a a spring session and a summer session, Saturday mornings. We introduce the elementary school kids to running events on a track, some field events. In June, we participate in a track meet up in Crescent that's been going on for close to 20 years. Last year we took 28 kids up to that. It was a great experience. We're now having the opportunity to see some of the kids that went through our program perform for the junior high. And it's just a good sport. It doesn't matter about anything other than having a pair of shoes and how well you want to do and how hard you want to work. It doesn't matter about who the coach is or what offense they're running, or it's just individual skills. It's a good thing.
Let me interrupt. Isn't there a program to get you ready for all these marathons that you don't just walk in? I think
there are running programs. Yes, that's a good point. Thank you for reminding me. Tina Kunzbuck, our wellness director, and our race director does running programs to help any age to prepare for running up to a half marathon, or even to compete in the triathlon that we do at Canoe Creek State Park. So, we can help everybody in that way.
How about the youth triathlon?
Laurie, it'll be the second year.
I know, that's pretty exciting.
The youth triathlon is for 8 to 14 years old. We do it at the Y in August. It's swimming, biking, and running. It always stays pretty close to within the YMCA and the high school. So it's well supervised. It's a very safe activity. But the kids that now are able to compete in a triathlon of the three activities of running, swimming, and biking, they just feel terrific about themselves, and it opens up their mind to other physical challenges and opportunities. So we're very excited about that. We also have a couple other things going on. We work with Coach Brian Dennis, who is probably one of the most successful tennis coaches in the area, and he runs the Tiger Tennis Camp through the summer, and he typically wins the boys and girls high school leagues around here. He just has a dynasty going on, loves tennis. Brian is just an amazing person, shares his love of the sport, and obviously does very well at teaching. So that's going on. And Frank and the program staff, they're offering something called a summer sports clinic this year. And there'll be one in June, another in July, and another in August. It's a one-week program for Monday through Thursday, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And they're going to go through a variety of sports. They're going to do baseball, softball, football, soccer, basketball, soccer, and rugby, just to give everybody an idea of the skills, some of the strategies. Again, just to give them, as we did for Megan, expose them some different things and see, if one of them really catches on. And also his Athletic Essential program will be offered again this summer. The only difference this year is instead of having it a month session, he's going to do it as a class, a drop-in class. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Athletic Essentials just works on agility, coordination, some strengthening things. It's not sport specific, but you'll learn how to throw, but not just a baseball, or you'll learn how to kick, but not just a softball. You'll learn a lot of different things with balance, and it's a program that he has grown. I remember him running a class for 3, 4, 5 kids, and now he's close to 18 to 20 kids in these classes. So you learn how to develop your body without feeling inadequate because you can't shoot a ball or hit a baseball, or it's you develop your physical abilities in a very easy, comfortable manner. So that's some of the programs we got going on.
Wow, well that's a lot. In that long list, I noticed you didn't mention T-ball, and so tell us about that program there, the T-ball, and any other introductory programs you have.
Yeah, T-ball is just outstanding. It's a it starts with an instructional program in April and May. It's a biddy T-ball, teaching kids which hand to put the glove on, how to hold a bat. Certainly the tee is the ball stands stationary on a plastic stand, and you learn how to hit it. Hitting a ball is not easy. You're bringing down through different planes, and but it's a sport that everybody knows and everybody plays. It can kind of be intimidating. Someone's going to throw something at you, and you either have to hit it or catch it. So the instructional biddy program is a good way to start. Then we have the Biddy T-ball league. That's, the Cactus is for the younger kids. The All-Star League is for older kids. And we have, going back to some of the things that Laurie mentioned, we have a lot of parents, mothers, fathers, uncles, brothers, sisters, who help coach. And we could have 150 kids in this program and 50 coaches. It's just a great experience to come down to the Y and see all these families playing, and we don't keep score. Everybody bats, everybody, and you try to get them to where they know to field the ball, throw it to first, hope they catch it. And you can see the progress each week. So this will be a summer program, but T-ball is just a great sport, and I like just to go down and watch it. The high school coach, John Schinnell, his son Ty, played last year in the league, and this is a technical term, but he dragged a bunt. He's a left-handed batter, and you sort of catch the ball in your bat and pull it down along first base with you. And it's an advanced move. And here's
Sounds
this.
like cheating to me, but go ahead.
Well, it's a strategic move, and he pulled it off. And he's maybe, how old is Ty?
He is in kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, so seeing a little kid pull off something like that, and he knew what he was doing because he made a big smile to his dad when he was doing so. And he's one of our they're part of our child care families too. So T-ball is I'm glad you reminded me about that because that's a great program. We also have a couple other things. We're teaming with the HAFA, the Hollidaysburg Area Youth Football Association. We're doing a Monday night football clinic in, I think it'll be June. It's Monday evenings, and we're working with third and fourth graders to prepare them with some of the skills they're going to need because HAFA has a tackle program for fifth and sixth graders. So to prepare them, we're doing some things like that. We do a karate program with Master Gary Josephic, so that's going on this summer. When you said earlier that if we're not going to be able to touch on everything, get that program book, get on our website, and give us a call because there's a lot of things going on.
Well, one of the things when you were talking about all the races and going through the year, that don't they finish up with that polar plunge that is growing an interest on that? Why I don't, but it brings in money for the Y. That's good, but wow. You go across this panel and all the programs we have and the child care programs. Sandy takes care of 150. She and her staff take care of 150 kids a day. Laurie has us going in all new kinds of directions. So yeah, we did a polar bear plunge at Canoe Creek last year. It was our second one. We went from 18 people to 64 people. Wow. It was a great day, and I'm sure it's going to grow. I won't be one of them, the participants. Neither will I.
But there are people, the costumes, the enthusiasm. It's not a very long event.
How can it
get
be?
in, you get out, you get your clothes, we give them the awards, we celebrate, and we have a good time, and boom, everybody's home. So
take lots of pictures. I've seen some of those costumes out there. It's
I don't believe we're finished with all the different things we will be offering. Laurie's coming up with new ideas all the time.
All the time, it sounds like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
the latest, just to let you know, is Best Buy mobile phone, is we want to teach folks how to use their mobile phones,
Oh,
their cell phones. So we're looking to do that in April.
okay. Just whatever,
We're branching.
whatever the community needs. Well, Sandy, how about talking about the summer day camps and what's coming up?
Well, right now we're kind of in the process of planning camp. I have been interviewing for the last month and a half for staffing. Probably what's planned right now is our field trips, which is always the most important part of, if you ask the summer camp kids what's the most important part of camp, is the field trips. So this year we have some of our old faithful trips. We're going back to Lakemont Park. We're going to the Altoona Curve game. One of the favorites, Racetown Water Park, is always a big favorite. We have our annual all-camp picnic at Canoe Creek. We go there. This year, we actually are going back to Millbrook Nature Center, which is up in State College, where the kids actually go stream stomping. It's a 2-hour educational program where they get to learn about, the life in the streams. And from what I understand, I've never gone on it, but they enjoyed it several years ago, so we wanted to go back. We're actually going to go to a State College Spike game this year, trying to branch out. And like I said, we went several years ago, and they really seemed to enjoy it, so we're going to go back this year. A new place we're going this year is, I called the State College Y, because I've seen them going to this place every year, and I called and talked to the camp director up there, and I asked them about it, and they said, oh, the kids just love it. So we're actually going to go up to Ag Days up at State College. Oh, cool. And we've actually had some child care staff who've gone up there too, and they said, oh, the kids are going to love this. There's so much hands-on activities for them, and so we're going to try that. And then every year we have a big field trip, and I don't know how this started, but years and years ago we decided we'd take a family trip where we take all of the kids and any families who would like to come. We actually rent charter buses from through the bus companies and take, I think we were up to 3 chartered buses last year. Oh. And last year we went to the Carnegie Science Museum, and this trip's been in the back of my mind for a few years. So I think this year, tentatively, we're going to the Smithsonian Museums down in DC. I've got some feedback from some people who've been there, and they think the kids will really enjoy it. And I've noticed that, the White House and the Washington Monument all within walking distance of the National Mall. So, and then a few years ago, it is a little bit more costly to go on these trips because of the cost of the buses. So we did realize that there might have been some families who maybe couldn't afford to go. So I think 2 years ago we started to have an optional fundraiser where the parents could actually help raise money for their children to go on the trip, and that's been actually very successful.
Great.
So that might be the reason we took 3 charter buses last year. It always seems to be a very popular field trip. Actually, I lost my seat last year on the bus because we had so many parents who wanted to go that I gave up my seat.
I was going to ask that. You don't have to ask for volunteers for these kind of trips. You've got
No,
more
we
than what you
actually
need.
we laugh because we probably have more families on the trips than and the staff love this trips because they may have because all of our staff love to go on these trips, and we may only have just some children. It might be like a 5 staff to 5 children on the trip that are unescorted by a family. So yes, every year I tell Tom I'm not doing it again, and every year I do it. So
Well, I would think you would have problem leaving staff behind,
Oh yeah, we all.
watch,
I mean, it's something
over the
that's
fort.
it's
Yeah.
something that we all enjoy, and we've tried to move the trip up a little bit. We usually did it toward the end of August and the end of camp, but we found out that because of college, some of our staff had to go back, maybe a little earlier. So we've moved the trip up to the beginning of August, so all the staff have an opportunity to go.
Okay, great. Well, Laurie, you must see a lot of similarities with Sandy's summer day camps and your arts and humanity program. Do you offer programs for adults as well as children?
Well, actually, as she was talking, I was thinking about when I went to Y Camp, and we went to the junior high and did our arts and crafts, and that was a big deal. And then I think about my children, them going to Y Camp, and how much they love going to Lakemont Park, the Racetown Water Park, the Pittsburgh when you go to the zoo. I mean, they look so forward to those times. And then now, I mean, it's funny how times have changed. You just have to keep moving the needle so the kids want to come and be part of the YMCA camp. But I think, actually, the question is, the things we do that are the same is we're involving families, we're helping build kids' self-esteem, we're developing friendships, and we're introducing them to the why. I feel for kids that never had the opportunity to be part of the YMCA, because it is a great organization.
It certainly is. And proof in that is it's so long-lasting.
Exactly.
100 years now.
Exactly. And our adult programs, this year, that we've had a great photography class with Tara Nelson, who is a professional photographer, and it's turned out really well. We also I took a survey with our staff and said, who has a talent? And it ended up that Luann Clary has a talent, which she was able to make t-shirt scarves, and we did that this year, encouraging mothers, daughters, bring your friends, and it turned out really well. So, like I said, we're always looking. So anybody out there that has an idea, give me a call at the Y.
Great. Well, Tom, do we offer sports camps in the summer? I think you touched on quite a few.
Yeah, we do, Donna, some. It's we don't concentrate. There's so many other programs that are available. I did mention we do that sports summer clinic to do a variety of things. I mentioned that we work with Brian Dennis, the Tiger tennis coach, and we also invite the British soccer camp to come in. And they come in, I think it's in June, they come in for a week. And then the other, what might be considered a camp, is sends a volleyball camp for girls. It's a program for instruction and he's an exceptional volleyball player, official, coach, teacher. I mean, he's got quite a resume, and a lot of people in the volleyball community know Sen. So those are the things we do, sort of on a camp basis.
Well, I know also when you were talking about the T-ball and everything that they get out there whether the rain or anything else, you have to pull them off the grounds, don't you? Because you talk about the enthusiasm that parents and everybody has out there. Yeah, I was thinking as you were talking about it. Well, it's hard to believe that we're about the end of the show already. That I certainly tell by your enthusiasm, all three of you. It's not just Laurie. That all of you. Your heart and souls are at the Y, and I can see you get a lot of pride when you see the success on that. So any final thoughts that you may have forgotten about any of your programs? Here's your last chance here, Laurie.
All I can say is come see us at the Y. We have it all.
We do have it all. Sandy?
We also offer an Explore series for preschool children in the summertime, and registration for camp is right around the corner.
Great. Well, you can get in anytime, I understand.
Anytime, right.
That you don't have to, like, if you miss the deadline, you're not
right.
out.
There's actually no deadline for summer camp. We take registrations all summer long.
And I also understand there's some kind of scholarship kind of things that
yes,
there's a
we
budget
have
problem.
Camp for All. So
Okay.
if they can apply for financial assistance through a camp scholarship.
Okay, great. Tom, make it short.
Sure.
Well, I can make it short. I just think we all the parents, I think we need to remember that sports are games, and games are meant to be played for fun. And I think we right now there's a lot of emphasis on competition, traveling squads, and private lessons, and it's just sports are games. and they need to be played for fun, and they were meant to teach our kids valuable lessons that can be applied to other aspects of life, and winning isn't a guaranteed outcome. So I think the Y has a nice balance of teaching kids how to perform, how to be better, and I'd encourage the community to check us out and see what we're doing.
When I say the Y family, I really mean it, because there is that feeling that we're all together here. Well, I want to thank you so much for being here, and I want to thank our sponsor, the Hollidaysburg Area YMCA Board of Directors. And if you have any questions regarding anything that you heard on today's show, call the Y at 814-695-4467, or visit the website at www.hollidaysburgareaymca.org. And, or better yet, as I've always said, visit the Y, take a personal tour. And while you're there, get the new spring program book. It's really nice this year that it's all in color, and they have one little special feature here where you can write your story about the Y. Here we were talking about stories all day. You can tell your own story and give it to the Y, and they like to hear from you, see what's going on with you. And while you're there, as I said, pick up your program book. You can sign up for the website or the bi-weekly newsletter. And as they said, they're always looking for volunteers. And if you missed any part of today's show, we're on Monday, every Monday at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. And again, thank you for watching. And when you think of the Y, think of your Hollidaysburg area YMCA, making a strong, positive impact on the lives of our children, of our families, of our adults, and our community, one by one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the Y.